Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Planescape Torment. No. See a spindle-thin man in dirty black robes. His stiff black hair springs forth from his skull like a crown of spikes, and his leper-white skin is drawn sharply across his skull. He is frowning into his drink and mumbling to himself. Greetings. The dust man looks up, blinks once, then looks you up and down, studying you. As he studies you, he takes one of his spiked locks and points at himself with it. Noroch, Initiate, Dustman, Guard. You look troubled, Noroch. Noroch touches his face, traces the shape of his frown with his finger. Troubled? Yes. What's wrong? The Dustman looks you up and down. Many troubles have I. Help can you. A mausoleum awakes. The dead walk, the dead disturbed, the Dustman disturbed. Find out what disturbs the undead, and copper coins I will pay. Very well, where is this
Updated
mausoleum?
my journal.
Noroch nods. Mausoleum by Dustman Memorial. Go north and west from Black Monument. Go to arch in a semicircle over your heart with this finger, this make. He wiggles the index finger on his right hand. To the mausoleum, go, you will. I'll look into it then. Farewell.
All right.
Awaiting death. Before you was a young dustman with stubble on his chin and dark circles beneath his eyes, staring at the wall with a somber expression. Greeting. The dustman doesn't look up. He stares straight ahead as if he is seeing something several leagues beyond the walls of the bar. Can I ask you some questions? The dustman doesn't respond. He keeps staring into the distance. Alrighty then, Mort hisses at you. Let's go, Chief. This dusty might as well be fertilizer. Fair enough. Let's get out of here. As you turn to leave, the dustman suddenly speaks, his voice barely a murmur. You have to strain to hear the words. You think he said something about wanting to die. What did you say? The boy's expression does not flicker. Do you want to die? I really don't know. Do you want to die? Yes. Then why haven't you killed yourself already? I have been looking for a means to end my life. Will you kill me? If you lack the conviction to kill yourself, I'm not going to do it for you. That is not a matter of conviction. Then it must be another matter then. So I ask you, what is it about living that drives you to hate it? This existence. This existence is a mockery of life. I do not wish to continue this charade any longer. His face wrinkles in disgust. Why would anyone wish to remain in this foul city in the center of a multiverse that feeds on pain and hatred? Death is silent, comforting. Surely living cannot be as bad as you make it out to be. This is living? He bares his teeth and his hands clench. This existence. This existence is a mockery of life. Okay. Death is silent, comforting. Trust me, it's not. The boy seems irritated by the comment, and how do you know? I just do. Call it a hunch. The dustman scoffs. Hardly convincing. Try and kill me then, see what happens. He looks at you skeptically. Nay, I think not, even if I felt the urge to do so. Ah, boy, is this... Dying then coming back to life in a bar full of dustman's probably a bad call. Never mind then, what did you mean before about being resurrected? Resurrected, brought back to life. The magic required is indeed powerful. Who would be capable of such power? A powerful sorcerer or priest, or one of the powers, but not anyone I know. He frowns, and I don't believe you know of anyone of that sort either. You don't believe I can't die? I could prove it to you. What do you mean? He looks like he wants to turn away, but he cannot. Can't seriously. Take your hands, twist your neck. Your vision slowly returns. Your death felt different this time. You see a waiting death standing above you. He looks horrified and fascinated. He's propped you into a chair and is looking apprehensively at the other bar patrons. They don't appear to have noticed or have mistaken you for a drunk. Convinced now? Are you one of the walking dead? No. Then what are you? Don't know, but I die and am reborn. Yet you still think? You still feel? Yes, but there is a hollowness. Something is missing and it eats at you, never leaves you at peace. Be dead and still think you'd feel? Will misery never leave a body be? The thought seems to horrify him. Even death is no release. Indeed, perhaps you should not be so quick to abandon this life before knowing what the next life holds for you. The boy falls silent, thinking. Eventually he turns back up to you. Your words carry weight, sir, and a fresh perspective. I will do as you have said. That is all I ask. Live, grow old, and learn. Farewell. Old Copper Eyes. Before you was a tall, silent figure. He could easily pass for a statue, although the deep furrows in his face and brow make you wonder if the sculptor was a little too eager in defining the face with the chisel. He looks well over 50 years old, but exactly how much over 50 it's hard to tell. As he slowly turns to look at you, you catch the dull sheen of copper in his eyes. Greetings. Old Copper Eyes stares at you. His eyes are difficult to make out past the black well of his eye sockets, but they look to have a coppery sheen about them. I have some questions. Copper Eyes says nothing. Never mind. Farewell. See a heavy-set man with dark skin and grim features. He is dressed in dustman robes and is regarding you with a stony gaze. Greetings. You have the look of one lost. Hold on. The man's voice is like stones settling. Did the wind send you, or are you here with purpose? Who are you? I am Emmerich, factotum and initiate of the Fourth Circle. This your bar? If you measure ownership in copper, this is not my establishment. If you measure ownership in spirit, it is mine. Pauses as if trying to emphasize a point. The dustmen here are my students. They are under my protection. Can I ask you some questions? I have come here in search of a journal. These eyes have seen no journal. Perhaps your search will take you elsewhere. I will look somewhere else then. Farewell. I don't want to join the dustmen, at least not at this point. This tiny wizened man is dwarfed by his huge dustman robes. They look as if they were chosen to cloak his small stature. Although he looks to be in his late 90s, this man is extremely energetic. He fidgets continuously, and his eyes dart around the bar like a bird's. Greetings. The man's eyes gleam as he takes your measure, and he gives a slight nod in greeting. Hail and well met, traveler. You look like one who was just getting their sigil legs about them. Trails off. Pardon me. Have we met before? Your face seems familiar somehow. Possibly. Are you certain it was me? Maybe I was mistaken. Mordai shakes his head. Well, no matter, no matter. How is it that Mordai Gravesend may help you? Do you seek... Plucks his tongue as he speaks. The contract, perhaps? Contract? The contract? Why, it is but a simple transaction. From the depths of his huge robe, Mortai pulls forth a dusty parchment and a quill pen. I gave you 50 commons. In return, after death, the Dustman faction may claim your remains. Smiles and clucks his tongue. What use will you have for them at that point anyway? What do the Dustmen do with the body? Mortai holds up his hands as if he doesn't know. What does it matter? It is of no consequence when you pass on. It matters to me. Hmm. Well, if you must know, oftentimes nothing is done with the body, and it is we, the dustmen, who have wasted all that money. More fools us. Mordecai gives a light smile, then looks apologetic. But rarely, there are times when the workers in the mortuary need to be replaced, and then we may have a need for your body. You mean I'll be animated as a corpse that puts work in the mortuary? That doesn't sound good. Uh, the no harm is done, no pain. Mordecai raises a finger as if to emphasize the point. And there is no danger. In exchange for money you could spend in this life, you merely have to give us something you will have no need of anyway once you have died. Mordecai taps his chest. I signed the contract myself, if you must know. I shall have no need of my body when I pass on. Well, I'll consider it for now. For now, I have some other questions. Of course, Mordecai nods. It would be my pleasure to answer any questions you may have. No questions today. Farewell. Mordecai nods as you turn to leave. He has a strange expression on his face. Is there something wrong? Mordecai frowns. Forgive me, I must ask again. Are you sure we haven't met before? Possibly. I do not recall you. Hmm. Mordecai shakes his head. Well, no matter. Farewell, Mordecai. Yes, farewell, farewell. Mordecai studies you as you leave, and you hear him mutter under his breath. Something about that one. Sarah the skeptic. As you approach, the elderly woman turns and stares at you. La, look who's come a-calling on Sarah today, death's dearest son. She looks you up and down, then shakes her head in disbelief. By every power, and its mother boy, what crypt did you crawl out of? Well, the crypt was losing its charm, so now I'm looking around for the right place to die. Know of anywhere? Sparks laugh that rattles your ears. Ha! Not here, unless you want to die of boredom. What's wrong with here? Shh! Someone pinch your sense and your sight, boy? She waves her hand around the bar. Look around. What do your eyes tell you? A dustman bar? Very good. Sarah chuckles dryly, although she doesn't seem to be laughing at you. At the risk of explaining myself, dustmen are the dullest breed of dullards ever to nest its sigil, always speaking of death reverently like it's some holy union that every creature in the multiverse should strive for. Shh! But you're a dustman. A dustman? I suppose. Sarah sniffs. Shh! I've seen enough sand pass through the hourglass while wearing these robes. This body's almost ready to pay the ferryman. Chuckles, but there's not much mirth in it. Are you afraid of dying? Of course I am, boy. Who isn't? He frowns and glances around. Well, except dustmen. They're not afraid because they've been swallowing so much of their own bat droppings over the decades, they've blinded themselves into thinking that death is some kind of release. Shh! You don't sound much like a dustman. He shrugs. I guess the dustman robes don't fit me as well as they used to. What happened? He shrugs. Life, I suppose. She frowns. Ha! Never you mind. I won't bore you with the niggling details. I'd like to know, actually. Oh, would you? She looks at you skeptically. Shh! How old do you take me for, boy? Lie out of kindness. Rather youngish. Sarah blinks, then smiles. Aren't you a dear? She chuckles to herself, then coughs. Well, I'm older than I look. Much older. She sighs. I've spent most of my life teaching dustmen. I've seen many dustman whelps grow within our order, taught them the ways of the faction, kept the faith, preached the tenets of the faction. She frowns. And so on and so on. No questions, no doubt. This life was merely an antechamber that led to the true death. What happened? Hold on. Well, a half month back, I went sick with the fever. She sighs. I thought it was the end. It rattled my cage. Now, her face becomes a stone. There's something about having your faction members circle around your deathbed like a pack of pale-faced ghouls, nodding and agreeing that your suffering and dying is all for the best. Oh, Sarah's so fortunate. She shall soon be relieved of the burden of life. Burden of life? That's when it struck me that there's something. A queer expression comes over her features. Addled about not appreciating your life. The dustman keeps saying that life is misery and suffering. Is it? That we should be happy to pass on into oblivion. Should we? She shakes her head. Questions, questions, and precious few answers. Doesn't sound like you believe in the dustman philosophy anymore. Suppose I have got a swarm of doubts all buzzing in my skull. She rubs her temples. Hard to get them all to be quiet sometimes. They need to be fed some answers, and I haven't got them all worked out yet. What will you do? To be square, boy? I don't know. Sarah sighs. That's the problem with doubt. I can't even trust that what I'm feeling is true if I'm scared of death only because of my brush with the fever, or even what I should do. Is this a passing thing? I don't know. Sarah, if you had truly believed in the dustman philosophy, then your brush with the fever would not have left you with such doubts. Sarah stares at you, then nods slowly. Maybe so. Maybe so. She frowns, her face wrinkling up in concentration. I'll have to chew it over some more. You should. It's no small matter. Now. Enough of me rattling on about my woes. Sarah stares at your scars. You look like you've shared a few handshakes with death yourself. Hasn't that changed your view somewhat? Doesn't it make you appreciate life a bit more? Yes. And well, it should. Nothing comforting about death. Well, my brushes with death are a lot closer than those of other people. Can't seem to die, at least as far as I know. Sarah blinks. You're rattling my coffin. It's true. Strange are the ways of the plains, and I've seen too much to throw any tale out with the wash. She studies your face. If it's true, why does this happen? All I know is I woke up in the mortuary with no memory and covered with enough wounds to kill me 3 times over. Now don't be saying that too loud. She glances around. Most peculiar. Never heard of anything like that. Shame about the memories. Do you have any idea why this happens? Nay, not a one. Never knew anyone who death wouldn't take. Till now. I must take my leave. Farewell. Ah.
Done.
Alright, the tomb. Pen's note. Axis. Emmerich.
All right.
Angyar. This man looks haunted. His eyes are half lidded as if he has had trouble sleeping, and his hair is long and unkempt. His beard is flecked with bits of dead skin and old bits of food. He doesn't seem to notice you as you approach. Greetings. The man glances up at the sound of your voice, and his hold on. had phlegm in my throat and I had to get it out. The man glances up at the sound of your voice, and his slack expression vanishes. Looks like someone has lit two fires in his eyes. What be your business barging into me house? His eyes narrow and his teeth clench. Get, or I'll send you back to whatever grave you crawled from. Calm yourself, I had some questions. The man's face turns blood red and he begins shouting. Are you daft? With a snarl, he spits at your feet. You filthy, scar-ridden dog. Off with you, or even the powers won't be able to save your hide. Go ahead and try, if you think you have the strength.
Die. I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm gone.
Come on in, fire! Has he got the kid? The burning man! He's on fire! You've got to see it to believe it! The burning man, right here, right inside! Just see one of these, then! Have you got the kid? Come on in, buy a drink, see the burning man! He's on fire! You've got to see it to believe it! The burning man, right here, right inside!
What's up? Sure, why not?
All right. Done.
Okay. See someone dressed as a female dustman with a half-empty glass in her right hand. As you near, she calls out to you. You, over here. You notice that there's something wrong about her, and your exposure to the dustman leads you to believe that she's just too lively to be a real member of the faction. Approach her. Hey, Cutter. Buy a lady a drink? You're not really a dustman, are you? Looks around nervously and seems to sober right up. Why do you say that? Because you don't act like a Dusty, and you're not offering contracts. In fact, you're taking money in instead of giving it out for that corpse labor they do at the mortuary. She stifles a squeak of terror and hastens to explain. No, 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 I'm not a dustman. I just found these robes in the street and I didn't have enough money to get good clothes, and I heard there was a dustman thief around, but you could probably find him somewhere else in the southwest part of the hive. I saw him, but I hid from him. Please don't hurt me. I'm not planning on it. You ought to know that you're not pulling it off too well. Now, answer some questions. Who's the burning corpse? He's, not a corpse. He's, some crazy wizard. Ask around, they'll tell you the story. Farewell. Oh. You see a man standing stock still. He isn't moving a muscle. On closer examination, it appears that he isn't even breathing, just standing. His eye sockets are empty holes in his face. Contained within their bounds is a flat gray light that seems to dance with possibility. Looking into the sockets, the eerie, empty feeling of a limitless void shivers through you, as if you had gazed into a sliver of eternity. The head slowly swivels toward you. You notice that no muscles appear to move under his skin as he turns. He speaks in a pure bell-like tone. Well met, wanderer. You have forgotten again, haven't you? You know me, stranger? As he opens his mouth, you get that feeling of eternity again. Inside his mouth, you see no tongue, no teeth. It's almost as if this man were a shell surrounding an illimitable expanse. I have spoken with you before, and always you forget. Your endless quest to discover yourself ends always in your amnesia. You draw close to the truth and recoil. Let us hope that you have the strength to endure your existence. What do you know of me? How do you know this? I know that you, like a fly, rise up from the wreckage of your old shell, buzz about for a time, and curl up and die at the window of truth. You bumble about the panes, seeking the light without any plan to your actions. You fall exhausted when you fail. You alight on others to feed from them for a time, and move on with no regard to them. I have watched you come here and listened to your words, and watched you move away no wiser. Will you learn from your mistakes, Seeker? Who are you? I am O. For some reason, when he speaks his name, it sounds like he's speaking of much more than a single letter, as if the speaking of his name contains untold possibilities and nuances. No human tongue could ever create such a sound. What are you? It is my name. It is the name of a portion of eternity. I am a letter in the divine alphabet. Understanding me leads to understanding existence. I am written the true names of half of everything. My being encompasses truth. I am mathematic, organic, metaphysic. So what does that mean? The divine alphabet is written in the name of everything that exists, from the seat at the hearts of the elemental planes to the core of the great beyond. My brothers/sisters, a single word translates into the two in your mind, and I reach across all that is, was, or ever shall be. We are thought, and reality, and concept, and the unimaginable. What are you doing here? Why, I am watching the ebb and flow of mortality. And what do you see? You mortals are like wasps. You build your lives and nests from the slimmest of branches, and when the wind shakes your home/life free, you seek to sting the wind to death. Instead of realizing your foolish mistakes, attempting to repair the damage you have caused yourselves, and learning from your experience, you bring harm to any who have the misfortune to blunder near you in your time of pain and distress. My advice to you, and to all mortals, stop acting like an insect and start acting sentient. Thanks for the advice. Farewell. The man before you is old. His dry yellow skin has the scars of one who has traveled everywhere and never rested long in any one place. His pinched face is inhumanly angular, and his ears sweep out from his skull, tapering to points. He wears a loose-fitting orange tunic, and a strange shimmering blade is strapped across his back. The blade looks to be a two-pronged glaive, made of some metal whose surface swirls like a film of oil on a pond. Greetings. The man turns to you. His eyes like polished coal. He stares through you, and for a moment you wonder if he might be blind. The weapon suddenly turns a dead, flat black, mirroring the man's eyes. Are you alright?
Hail, traveler.
He says nothing for a moment, merely searches your face with his eyes. Hail, traveler. His voice is quiet and somber, like a wind whispering through the branches of a great tree.
Your
Hail.
eyes are the weight of one who has traveled far to be in this place.
The man meets your gaze, his eyes burrowing into yours. The weapon drains of its black color, resuming its shimmering you noticed before you spoke to him. And then, the line. Your eyes have the weight of one who has traveled far to be in this place. You could say that. The man's gaze does not waver from yours. I am known as Dak'kon. The emphasis he places on the word known strikes you as odd, yet familiar at the same time. You are not known to me. I do not know myself. That is for the best. In knowing yourself, there would be little in the plains left worth knowing. He falls silent for a moment, still studying you with his coal-black eyes. I would know why you have come to this city. I'm looking for answers. I have many questions. Speak your questions. I will hear you. Your features are unfamiliar to me. What are you? A Githzerai. Githzerai? Githzerai is one of the people. One of the people? Githzerai. Yes, but what are the Githzerai exactly? Dak'kon is silent for a moment, that speaks. Our history does not need to be made known to you. We would bleed to death on Time's blade before I recited a fraction of the histories of our people. I don't need to know your histories, but I would know of your people as they are now. Dak'kon is silent for a moment. Know this and accept it as an answer. We are the people who make our home upon the shifting plane of limbo. With a deft motion, Dak'kon slips the blade from his back and holds it before him. Wait, see what happens. There we mold the matter of limbo with our minds. We forge cities with our thoughts. As you watch, a series of rippling waves of metal begin to roll forth from the center of the blade. The pitching crest of the waves match the inflections in Dak'kon's voice. In its chaos we dwell, with only our knowing to preserve us. We are the Githzerai. What's that blade you have? It moved, shifted in response to your voice. It is a Karach blade. It is an object that lets others know the rank of the wielder. Karach, what does that mean? Dak'kon falls silent for a moment, as if searching for the correct words. In your tongue, the closest translation is chaos matter. The people may shape it with their thoughts. Shape it with their thoughts? Karach is not shaped by heat, but by knowing oneself. It is a mirror that reflects the will of the wielder on its surface and in its edge. When one knows themselves, the blade is strong, harder and stronger than steel. When one does not know themselves, the blade is as water, formless and weak. What rank does the blade signify? The blade is a symbol carried by the Zerth. A Zerth is one who knows the words of Zerthamon. In knowing the words of Zerthamon, they know themselves. Zerthamon? Zerthamon founded our race. He knew the Githzerai before they knew themselves. He defined the people. He gave them one mind. You seem to place a special emphasis on knowing. What do you mean? All things, whether structure or flesh, their existence is defined by their knowing of themselves. If a man does not know himself, when a mind does not know itself, it is flawed. When a mind is flawed, the man is flawed. When a man is flawed, that which he touches is flawed. Dak'kon pauses. It is said that what a flawed man sees, his hands make broken. Do you know yourself? Dak'kon falls silent. His coal-black eyes take on the same distance that you noticed when you first spoke. I ask again, do you know yourself? When Dak'kon speaks again, his voice is changed. His words echo. Like a great stone dropped into a chasm. It looks like he's forcing the words from his chest. It is not my will that you know this. Perhaps I was too kind phrasing it as a question. Tell me. The words come out of Dak'kon slowly, as if they are being carried one by one. It has come to pass that I do not know myself. Why? Dak'kon's voice drops to a whisper, like sand. I do not know why. I know what has happened, but I know not the how nor the when, nor how to know myself once more. I've lost a journal. Do you know where it might be? The location of such a thing is not known to me. Can you tell me about this city? It is known by the name Sigil. Among the people, it is known as the city that does not know itself. Doesn't know itself? What do you mean? The city exists, but it does not know itself. And not knowing itself, its existence is flawed. You speak as if the city is alive. It may not be aware and know itself in the sense that you or I might know ourselves, but it lives. It grows, changes, and touches the minds of all that live here. Why do you say the city does not know itself? The city exists in opposition to itself. It has set itself apart from the planes, yet it seeks to be everywhere at once. Its walls are doors, yet it keeps these doors locked. Such an existence tells of a thing that does not know itself. In not knowing itself, it is flawed. What if the city is not flawed and you just do not know the reasons for its contradictions? There is order in everything. Perhaps there is an underlying pattern that you cannot perceive. Your question, a question. What if the city is flawed and you see its contradictions all around you? To your question, a question. You claim the city existence is flawed. You have accepted this rather than explore the possibility that something greater may exist that suggests you are flawed, and that you do not search for knowledge, but only for a convenient answer. Dak'kon falls silent. There is no knowing the answer to the questions we have asked. Yet the city exists. That is all. Yet I would maintain that we know ourselves by the questions we ask and the ones we do not. If we cease asking questions and accept only what we can perceive, then we will cease to know ourselves. Dak'kon's voice has changed slightly, become heavier. Such words have been spoken before. I have heard them and know them. Where have you heard them? The words are mine. Once I knew them and knew their meaning. I had forgotten them until you spoke. Dak'kon's gaze travels through you, and his blade stops shimmering, bleeding of all color until it is translucent. There is a moment of silence that Dak'kon looks up at you. I would travel your path with you. I accept. An extra blade would be welcome.
Your path is mine.
Strangely enough, his voice seems distant, and it echoes, as if he was speaking from across a great distance. Very well, let's go.
Ooh, looks like my skills have increased. Yeah?
Endure. In enduring, grow strong.
All right.
Tell me of the patrons of this tavern. Patrons of this place are varied, yet all mortal. Like all mortals, their concerns are limited, with the potential of blossoming into actual truth. I can tell you this, though. You may find a companion dear to your heart here. At least as dear as your heart will allow. My thanks. Farewell. Back for more, eh? Eb leans back in his chair. Good to see you again, lad. Hi. Greetings, Eb. I had some questions. Hi, lad. What do you want to know? What is this place? You're in the Smoldering Corpse Bar, lad. Not a pretty place as some, but it's got its own homespun kind of charm. Who's the Smoldering Corpse there? Him? Oh, no corpse, lad. No dead or him. Near as we could tell, old Ignis is still alive inside that little roast pit. Near as we could figure, anyway. Eb wrinkles his nose. He can smell damnably awful sometimes, too. Keeps me on the pipe to make sure it don't worm its way into my nose. It does. Chuckles. How did he get there? Eb takes a smoke from his pipe for a moment, as if deciding how to phrase his comment. Well, now, lad, Ignis had a smattering of problems and some not slight wizardly magics to boot. Seldom do the two mix well. If you understand me, he liked to... Eb puffs on his pipes. The smoke trails up. Well, he liked to burn things, and he started torching places and people, and generally making a bunch of trouble. And? Well, now, most of this was going on in the hive, and I'll be the first to admit that the hive is not the first place the Harmonium goes to keep Sigil's law. Eb looks a little shamefaced, failing on our part, since it may be the place where our presence is most needed. So, by the lady's reckoning, there was a little street-side justice in the wizardly community. A bunch of tea leaf readers, hedge wizards, and midwife witches got together and managed to weave a spell that was some kind of poetic justice. Eb gestures with his pipe at the figure, so now he sits there and burns. He's still alive, which I don't think they counted on. Alright. Grim. You see a scaled fiend who looks very similar to the one standing next to him. In addition to the pierced left ears, both are black-hued and reptilian, with bat wings tucked against themselves. This one is missing a tooth on its right side. Tagaren, it says. Our old friend has returned to pay us a visit. So he has, Aethelgrin, so he has, yet his eyes do not gleam as once they did. What do you suppose brings him back to us? What does bring you back to us, friend? Who are you? Aethelgrin. Time has robbed our companion's memory. You honestly do not recall us, do you? Truly, I am aggrieved. But, as am I, Tegarin, truly aggrieved, yet I rest easy. It has, after all, been many hundreds of years, and we know how the minds of mortals tend to dissipate with age. Ah, well spoken. Old friend, we are a pair of Abishai on leave from our current assignments in Bator. I am Tegarin, the thrice damned, so named for my ability to find the best in every situation. This is Aethelgrin, who has earned himself no special name, though not for lack of trying. Lack of trying? What do you mean? Aethelgrin ignores you as it responds to its companion. And once again, Tegarin, you have cut straight to the truth of the matter, though perhaps it is best not to have earned the sort of notice one bearing the name thrice damned most surely have incurred. Mort whispers to you. Boss, I don't like this. They're not supposed to be here. The Blood War hasn't kicked the Celestials' asses bad enough that any fiend can go on furlough. They want something. Tread carefully. In the meantime, Tegarin continues to respond to its companion. In its turn, Tegarin ignores you as it replies to its comrade. Once again, I maintain that any notice is better than no notice at all. The Abishai turns back to you. Old friend, does this answer your question as to our identities? I suppose it will have to. I have some other questions. I'm looking for a journal. I keep no journals, friend, and I counsel that you should not either. Ask my dear comrade Tegarin, and you shall receive enlightenment. Very well. Tegorin, why should I not keep a journal? Because, friend, it is easy to make the mistake of committing a true word to posterity, and easier still for someone you once trusted, and here he shoots a glance full of venom at Ethelgrin, find that word and use it against you. Indeed, it can even lead to actions tantamount to desertion. Leaving or losing a journal could cost you your very existence. See, I had some other questions. Boss, I'm more sure than ever that these Burks ain't on the up and up. Sounds to me like they deserted, like they're looking for some angle that'll elevate their status at Bator. You don't want to be talking to them, boss. You don't know what game they're playing, and you could get burned. Literally. Alright, just a few more questions for these two. Why, is that a little floating skull I see? There's a lovely sweet scent of Batorian decay about you, my pretty. Perhaps we should discuss this later. The Abishai returns its attentions to you. Now then, you said you had some questions? What are you doing? What are we doing? Why, is it not perfectly clear, old friend? We are on leave from our beloved assignment, taking for ourselves some much-needed rest, and perhaps deducing some additional recruitment for our glorious cause. Our superiors fully support our presence, to be sure. In a more immediate sense, we are taking our entertainment in this delightful establishment, and of course we are celebrating the return of our old friend. However, the stench of the breezes, which occasionally waft the scent of goodness in the door, debases us somewhat, leaving us physically, mentally, and spiritually weaker. Fortunately, the air in this ward of the city carries a delicious tang of pain and supplication. Wouldn't you agree? Again, the fiend smiles at you broadly. Nothing.
Tons of folly.
Did you see that?
The rock sings true.
Done.
I hear your words. I shall serve.
The Unbroken Circle of Zerthamon.
Done.
July. You see a thin man with stained clothes, a hooked nose, and two stubby horns jutting from his forehead. Stumbling about and muttering to himself, he stinks of brine, vomit, and sheep wine. Are you July? If so, Craddock needs you back at the marketplace. Craddock? The man's eyes widen. Ah, Craddock, me general's boss. Well, you can tell him this. He could pike off. And that he's a filthy dog, a cur of the lowest sort, and July is not a working for him any more. He jabs you with his finger. Tell him that. I'll tell him. Farewell, July.
Hey, we're being watched, Chief. Just look natural. Casual.
Done.
See a Dabus, but something about it strikes you as odd. It has the same shock of white hair, same greenish cast to its skin, the same pair of goat horns, and you suddenly realize this one is walking on the ground, not floating. For some reason that makes you uneasy. Dak'kon, can you translate for me? Dak'kon nods. Ask him who he is. Dabus inclines his head slowly, and a lone symbol appears above his head. It is blurry at first, then resolves into a white oval with a black lightning bolt through it. What did he say, Dak'kon? He is known as Fel. Ask him what this place is. A slow train of symbols materialize around Fel's head. The symbols take several moments to resolve, starting with simple lines and fleshing themselves out into breathtaking colors. What did he say? Places pictures on flesh here. Tattoos. Another question I wanted to ask him. Can he tell me anything about these tattoos on my body? Fel studies your body for a moment, walking around you. He mirrors each symbol as he examines it, then walks back to face you. He says the tattoos are not his. Can he tell me anything about them? Fel nods, symbols appearing around him like fireflies. The symbols upon your back are directions left to yourself. The mark upon your shoulder is the mark of Torment. It says the mark lies upon you because the flesh knows that it suffers, even when the mind does not. I feel like I know you, Fel. Fel bows reverently, and a stream of symbols swirl about his head, rotating clockwise and counterclockwise. He has split his speech with a contradiction. Dak'kon pauses for a moment, his black eyes swimming across the symbols. He says it is the first time you have come to him. He says this is not the first time you have come to him. Does he know who I am? Another series of symbols materialize quickly and sharply into focus above Fel's head. You are known to him, but he cannot tell you what you want to know. Why not? For a moment there is no response from Fel, then a stream of rebuses appear, as if trickling out of Fel's mind.
Updated my journal.
In place of an answer, he surrenders an apology for his silence. Dak'kon pauses for a moment, and when he speaks again, his words are like ice. He says that he cannot change the nature of a man. As Dak'kon repeats these words, you feel a terrible pressure in your head that fades with the last word. What lies beyond that curtain, Fel? Caravan train of symbols slowly materialize around Fel, one by one. This is his gallery. He says that he knows you as his canvas. He shows respect to your strength with his admiration. Dak'kon is silent for a moment, then he insults you by giving you his pity. His pity? Another caravan of symbols forms around Fel, this time forming a circle. He pities you for the scars Torment has left upon you. He says you have endured, and enduring you have grown strong. Does he mean? A long string of rebuses appears around Fel's head and surrounds his arms like manacles. He says his admiration is known through your enduring of loss. He says loss hangs upon you like chains that you stand and walk. Ask him to go on. A long string of rebuses appears above Fel's head, then falls, covering him like a cloak. He says loss covers this life and all the ones that have come before. He says you molt like a serpent, leaving these lives behind you as you walk all of life's paths. Say anything else? A long string of rebuses appears over Fel's head, then falls suddenly to the floor, streaming out behind him like a shadow. He would have you know this warning. Each of your lives casts a shadow on existence. Your path will take you to a place where the shadows do not know themselves, and the walls are made of regrets. See, does he say anything else? A brief series of paper-thin rebuses appear in an orderly row next to Fel, then vanish into glowing motes. He says, do not sign anything. Very well. Another series of rebuses appear, forming a spiral. They have the texture of a question about them. He asks if you know yourself to be complete. I don't. In fact, ever since I woke up in the mortuary, I feel like something's missing. Something inside. Fel nods, and a series of symbols materialize in a halo around him. He pays respect to your strength. He tells you to keep faith. And then you shall know yourself again. That is all I wish to know. Farewell.
Done.
Human skin has been stretched across these wooden frames. The skins are covered with tattoos.
I'm gone.
Painted door. What you first took to be a door in this archway is actually a painting. The artist has made use of the shadows of the overhanging arch and some subtle texturing effects to give the door the illusion of substance. Examine the door. Other than the skill of the artist, there's nothing remarkable about the painting. The door has been painted on a rough stone wall. You could feel the stone and mortar beneath the painted wooden texture. Leave it alone.
Have you got the kid?
Okay. He always wore fair skin with black hair. Oh, right.
All right. Done.
See the shine on that? See the edge on it? I tell you what, Cutter, that'll do you your business.
You see Craddock. His scowl has deepened since when you first saw him. It looks like he's about to crack his face in two. Found July. Is that right? Craddock glances around. Where is he then? He said to pike off, that you were a cur of the lowest sort, and that he wasn't going to work for you any
Updating my
longer.
journal.
Craddock's face turns a bright red, and his face cracks into a snarl. Damned be his name. May all the evils of the plains hound his footsteps. A blistering stream of insults, threats, and speculation about July's family roots issues from Craddock's
New
mouth.
taunts, alright.
Ooh, Mort clicks his teeth together as Craddock builds up steam. You can almost hear him taking notes inside his skull. Craddock finishes his tirade with a grunt. Damn that July. Well, that was the message. If there's nothing more, then I'll take my copper now. Craddock grunts and reaches into his purse and throws a handful of coins to you. Now, get. And if you see July again, tell him he's a dead man. No, I could inform if you need help. Craddock studies you for a moment. Ye? Ah, you couldn't. Suddenly falls silent. Well, mayhap you can. It's hard work and there's no drinking on my watch. Understood, let's get started. The work is long, but at the end of the shift, you are not the least bit tired. Credit grunts as you return. You did well enough. Here's your pay. Tosses you a handful of coins. Now get. We've no more use for you. Farewell, then. Okay.
Try these spices, sir. Oh, you can just taste them all over your...
Done.
See a plump woman going about her chores. She doesn't noticing you entering the room. Greetings. What are you doing in my house? Don't you have any manners? Just don't go around entering people's homes. Sorry, didn't know anyone lived here. Well, now you know. Please leave now and close the door on your way out. I have many chores I still need to finish, and I don't need any more interruptions. Alright, farewell.
Done. stronger. Die.
You see that? Damn it.
I'm gone.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was a fucking building.
All right.
Tall and lanky, this pale, grim-looking man exudes authority despite his gangly and somewhat awkward frame. A good portion of his left ear is missing. What little that's left is a ragged mess of scar tissue, as if the ear was bitten off rather than cut. Narrow, shifting eyes, almost mere slits. Oh, is he the guy who took the fork? Look clever and dangerous. Greetings. He spits out a reply. I don't know you, Burke. He glares at you. What did you want? Answer quick before I call in some men to make quick work of you. I had some questions. He's quiet for a moment, then nods. That's so? Like what? Looking for a journal that I lost. I don't know anything about that. Frowns and looks hard at you. Should I? He rolls his eyes, then holds up his hands as if confronted with an image of splendor. The city of doors, where the streets are paved with gold, and he resumes a serious manner. The dead. You don't look addled enough to come down here to ask me about sigils, so what's this really all about? No games, Burke. I'm short on patience.
All right.
Oh, that's Nod. That's right. That's the guy. Across the chunk.
I don't trust the Gith. I say we leave it behind.
Done. All right.
Sure, why not?
Done. All right.
You see that?
You see a massive human dressed in cast-off patchwork clothing and reeking of old ale. He's truly huge. It's obvious he was chosen for this job for his brawn, not his brains. What do you want? Pharod gave me his leave to go down to the catacombs. I need you to open the gate. Swings to open the gates. Then get going, Burke, and don't waste our time.
All right.
Skeletons don't appear to have been hurled from sarcophagi. They look as though they were fighting and had been cut down.
I'm hurt.
Whoa.
Poor Dak'kon. I knew it well.
I will hear you. I shall serve.
Alas, poor Dak'kon. I knew him well.
Done.
Jaw is hanging on by a thread. Would you give me a hand here?
All right. Damn.
What? Talk about beating a dead horse. You know, I was just sitting here wondering whether you were gonna get up. And then you have to go spoil my fun.
I'm gone.
The guard straightens up. You got what Pharod wantin', Burke? Show it to me, Burke, and I'll raise the gate, but not until, right? Alright, I don't have it, but I do have something you might be interested in. Yeah, what that might that be? How's 100 coins sound? That'll do. That'll do nicely. Pass through and I'll open the gate. Have him reach for it. Grab it and it's yours. Reach through the gate for the coins you hold out. Grab his arm and pin it. You deftly pin his arm back against the gate and wrench it. The guard screams in agony as his arm creaks in its socket. Let me in or I'll break it off. He hastens to open the gate before you make good on your threat and stands far out of your reach as you pass through the gate. If you ever cross him again, and they'll be picking your limbs out of 3 different crypts. Understood? Good. And some questions for you, Marta. Can I rest here? Marta nods. Marta home. Marta sleep here. You can sleep if and you wants. Yes, I don't think Marta have a problem, does you, Marta? She shakes her head. No, no, Marta. I doesn't if you doesn't. Very well.
Done. I'm gone.
Balance in all things.
Spell increases the target's strength score by a certain number of points. When the will is submerged, new strength is gained. A magical orb of protective energy arises, protects the recipient from attacks from all directions. Zerthma magic missile. Okay. Let's trade. Oh.
All right.
Guard looks at you with mingled fear and loathing, but he hastens to open the gates for you. He doesn't meet your eyes you pass by. Top of the morning, lads. As you pass one of the twisted stone faces on the walls, it calls out to you in a creaking voice that sounds like the shifting of boulders. Immortal, regard me. I am Clive. I would have words with you. How did you know I'm immortal? I sense a burning purpose within your shell. I see many things in the falling dust of these tunnels. You lack something essential, and that keeps you from death's sweet embrace. What did you want to say to me? Listen. This place holds much danger for you. Treachery awaits you on the surface, and your way is long and winding. At the end, you will find what you have sought, but you may not want it then. You some sort of oracle? No. Oracle? No. I observe. That is all. That's all. Forget it then. Farewell.
Endure. In enduring, grow strong. Precious folly. Precious folly.
All right. Damn.
You see that? Damn it.
Damn.
You see that?
Bronze Sphere. It's located in the deepest part of the catacombs where the water has drowned out the passageways.
All right. right. All right.
What's up, Chief? Sure, why not?
Go, you guys.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Done.
Okay.
Done.
These supports used to hold a sarcophagus. They apparently used to have something in them. They don't anymore. Bones look like they've been gnawed extensively. They are scattered randomly. This furniture is evidence that someone used to make this crypt their home. Let's just, yeah. With these near perfect condition.
I'm gone.
Encore, encore. I hope you have all your memories this time.
I'm gone.
I will hear you. In Dak'kon's name.
I'm hurt.
Again, it has come to pass.
God damn it.
Are you well? Balance in all things.
Damn it. Damn it.
I'm hurt.
How many times must this fool die? Looks like beauty sleep hasn't helped you.
Done. I'm gone.
Damn it. Did you see that?
I'm gone.
Uh, let's check that.
I'm gone.
This is the corpse of a man with a surprised look on his beak-nosed face. It's hard to tell how he died, whether from the numerous horrific slashing wounds across his abdomen and throat, or from blood loss incurred when his right arm was nearly severed from his shoulder. That's a bad way to go. If I could talk to him, you surely have a hell of a tale.
I'm gone. Done.
Alright. Here, Squints, did you find me knife, perchance? Oh. I thought that was his knife.
Did you see that?
caps rust to the ground and cannot be opened. It looks like they controlled airflow into the crypt. Names and warnings inscribed to the stone have been chipped away into
I'm gone.
illegibility.
I'm gone.
You have returned. To what do I owe this honor? I needed some questions answered. What did you want to know? What can you tell me of the catacombs around us? Catacombs were carved eons ago to house the dead of the city who did not wish the tender ministrations of the dustmen. They have become the refuse ground of the city, where dwell monsters barely seen, where humans prowl like scavengers among the scavengers. Many as one patrols these tunnels and has turned many against their natures. The dead nations prowl as well, guarding against the depredations of the humans who come among them. Tell me of many as one. Yeah, it's cranium rats. The dead nations? The dead have achieved life in their own way. They rule a portion of these catacombs. They struggle with many as one for the heart of these tunnels. How did you come to be in this situation? I was once a respected leader of my community in the lower ward. A petty lord sought to increase his power at the expense of my people. My friends, my relatives, and friends and I spoke against him. And then what? And then he captured us one by one and bound our spirits and senses into these screaming faces under the ditch, where all filth and sigil comes eventually. And then he let the polluted waters above flow through our mouths, our noses and eyes. Is there anything I can do to help? I am cursed to remain here until fresh water passes my lips. There is a magical flask of water in the drowned nations. Bring it to me and give me a taste of it, and I shall tell you of someone who can help you unlock its full potential. You shall never lack for water again.
Updated my
Where is this
journal.
flask? I do not know. There was an artist named Chad who frequented these tunnels. He knew. Find him, and he may tell you. And how do I get there? Through the dead nations, where the dead walk and rule, or through the warrens of thought, where many as one holds sway. Neither is without its risks. Oh, boy. Hargrim the Bleak. Stop! Thou have come too far, traveler, and trespassed into the dead nations, realm of the Silent King. Will thou submit peacefully? Submit to what? 'Tis the will of the Silent King that all who pass the gates into our nation become prisoners of his lands. Will thou submit? Very well, I will submit. Come then, we shall show thee to the chapel. Know this, thou shalt be free to wander these halls, but not to leave the catacombs. Thou shalt be a prisoner here until thy death. Should thou later arise as we have, thou shalt be free. Praise the Silent King. His will be done.
Updated my journal.
So go. Ah, another member of the living. Most are slain by the ghouls this far into the catacombs. You are fortunate. You're Sogo from the mortuary. What are you doing here? Your memory serves you well. I am no longer stationed in the mortuary. Instead, I have become a missionary in these parts. I thought I'd killed you. The wound you struck was not a mortal one. I recovered quickly and found that I would like to distance myself from the mortuary. Fine then, what are the dustmen doing here? I am the only one. I came to these catacombs after hearing rumors of undead that were aware in these parts. I hope to save them. Save them? Yes, passion ties them to this false life. I hope I can teach them to forsake these passions and leave this false life behind and reach the true death. True death? A complete absence of passion. The true death is the true life beyond this shadow of existence. It is to this place that these dead must reach to free themselves. You want them to die? I wish them to transcend this plane of existence, divorce themselves from passion. It can save them. Where am I? You are in the catacombs of the dead nations. The guards brought you here. Why have I been made a prisoner here? I do not know. Ask some of the citizens here. Who were you? I am Soko, factotum of the Dustmen. I am a missionary in these parts. He gives a half bow. Greetings and farewell. A moment of your time before you go. Do not attack any of the undead here in the catacombs. They will not harm you so long as you remain peaceful. Should you prove hostile, they will defend themselves, and there are many of them. Lastly, you may return here if you need to rest. Can we rest
Updated
now?
my journal.
Of course, you shall be safe in this chamber while you rest. Okay. The Dead Nations. Alright, so that's what I'm doing next. That's going to be it for tonight. I've hit 2 hours. So yeah, I am a little more combat than I was expecting. It's not something I'm used to, this old style of combat, but I am enjoying the stuff I'm seeing so far. And I'm interested to see what happens next. So, yeah, that is it for tonight. I will be back on Thursday with Elden Ring. So, until then, thank you all for watching. Have a good night and have a good week, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.